Good afternoon again, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We are going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do, the usual disclaimers. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to see all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the article written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics. In it, they interviewed over 800 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called Behavior Modification Program. The Dutch Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read that article so much. They threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic refused, so you know the drill. Please read the article, share on all your social media. Also included is NeuroClastic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding just in case the JRC ever actually does see through with their threat. Trigger warning 1. When we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please utilize your headphones. Trigger warning 2. This channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and we speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, obviously parental supervision is advised, especially today when I got up late and the day's almost gone and it's like supposed to be my morning and I'm a wee bit cranky. So, sorry about that. I haven't been sleeping well. That's the not so fun part of being autistic and getting towards middle age. The insomnia that plagues you since childhood is not so fun when you're older and you work. Not fun at all, kids. I don't recommend it. All right, so H transition time, comment 65. Comments we received related to the transitioning individuals on whom ESDs are currently used off of them supported making the transition time as short as possible after the ban is effective. Yeah, that's generally how that tends to work. If it has been determined that a particular device is harmful and all the requirements have been met to show that it presents an unreasonable risk of injury or harm, usually you try to transition folks off of said device as quickly as humanly possible. That's pretty normal. Yeah. One stated that if the FDA allows a gradual transition, a definite end date must be set. However, one comment stated that improper transition would potentially life-threatening and likely to cause a return to behaviors that result in direct and immediate harm. Any transition must happen under the care of a physician. No, you don't say. What are you arguing here? What are you arguing? Of course, the behaviors are going to return because you never dealt with the behaviors. Point blank. Abusing someone is not dealing with behaviors. It teaches us to fake it. You can only fake things so long. And then, wouldn't you know it, the behaviors come back. That's not shocking. That's basic logic 101. But it's potentially life-threatening. They could hurt themselves and maybe, just maybe, Instead of torturing disabled kids and folks with mental health issues, what you should have been doing was working on what is triggering those behaviors. You know, because if you deal with the triggers, the lessening of behaviors pretty much happens from default. You work and find ways to help with the triggers. What do you know, like magic? Although the behaviors never really disappear entirely, believe me, I'm pushing 40, I would know. It does, again, what I'm always talking about, brings it down to that base level. Because my triggers were addressed. Crazy, right? Had you done your job properly in the first place, it would have been a lot less likely for those behaviors to return and increase in frequency. You want to know when that happens, folks? That's what happens when you don't deal with what's triggering the behaviors in the first place, and you decide to punish the behaviors instead of delve into what's causing them. Because you can only fake it for so long. And when you fake something for so long and you can't anymore out of mental, emotional, and psychological exhaustion, all those behaviors come back with a vengeance. And a lot of times increase in their intensity due to now the trauma that is now a part of it. You can't just keep ignoring the triggers and expect things to magically get better because you are punishing people for the side effects, so to speak. Duh. And I would also suggest that in regards to transitioning these poor kids off that torture device, that it be under a care of a physician that has no ties whatsoever with the JRC. It needs to be a physician that is completely and totally unattached from the JRC. Point blank. Point blank. It needs to be from a physician that understands the concept of if you deal with the triggers, it assists in lessening the behaviors. Okay? Not to mention the years and years of therapy these poor kids are going to need. JRC created this situation. Do you understand that, Kool-Aid drinker? They created this situation. They banked off of other people's ignorance and the lack of resources for these poor parents, and have now put the kid in a situation that's almost no win. Okay? You facilitated the issue. You created the issue. That's it. You created the issue. You are now culpable for those behaviors coming back and increasing in intensity because you did not do your job and tortured kids instead. And those of us folks who are neurodivergent with post-traumatic stress disorder can tell you from experience it will happen. Okay? And it's going to continue to happen until the actual triggers of said behavior are properly dealt with. Because until that time, what you're going to see, faking it, faking it, faking it, faking it, faking it, violent meltdown, violent self-injury, aggression towards others. Come back. Fake it, fake it, fake it, fake it, fake it. Again, and the cycle repeats itself into infinity. This is what happens when you don't properly deal with the triggers of these behaviors. It's a never-ending cycle of masking and then falling off. Masking, falling off. Masking and falling off. There is a reason why adult suicide for autistics is so damn high and why so very few of us make it to see age 40. Okay? UJRC helped create a situation here. You never dealt with what was triggering those behaviors. All you do is punish those behaviors. I would expect for those behaviors to come back and intensify. Congratulations, you have rediscovered post-traumatic stress disorder. You want a cookie, you insane bastards? Yes, they do need to have their transition off of that device and into other appropriate treatment programs overseen by a physician. What they don't need is it to have any connection to the JRC whatsoever. That place needs to be closed the hell down, and these kids put in intensive therapy as well as other adjustments to treatment programs and start delving into what's causing these triggers. In order to do that properly, that physician can have absolutely zero ties to the JRC or any sympathies in their general direction. Okay? So, Sherlock. But the transition may need to be slower off the device, or it could come back in intensity. What you're afraid of, let's be real here, JRC, is revenge. Point blank. You are afraid of the aggression that is going to come out of them after they are able to finally wrap their brain around what you've done to them. And then, like you normally do, you're going to scream, see, this is why they need the device. Refusing to acknowledge that it was the device that caused the intensification of those behaviors in the first place. That is why who's ever overseeing the transition off of these devices should never be a physician that has any ties to the JRC, because quite frankly, we just can't trust those bastards to do their jobs properly. We're going to go ahead and close on that, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel, and the few we do tend to get removed from time to time. You know the drill. Please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and please don't forget to hit the comments. I appreciate your time, and as always, folks, we here at JRC, oh my God, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. JRC die in a fire. Yakishinu. Bye, everyone. And no, before I get off here, that was not a threat. It was an expression. What I really want is their doors closed forever. Legally. Just saying. Bye-bye, everyone. I'm going to shut up now.